Hello, I'm Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow.
For expansions.com, and this is our podcast for the news for the first week in August 2012. And as you can imagine, it has been quite a busy week. I'm not even going to talk about the Olympics because there's enough of that going on. However, I will discuss a little bit more information about James Holmes, the 24-year-old shooter at the Aurora, Colorado theater, because some information that I wanted to pass on to you, and that is that he does have links to the U.S. government and the Research Salk Institute, where he was involved in neurologically enhancing soldiers' abilities on the battlefield, and that has connections to DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. According to some information, Holmes is one of 6 recipients of a National Institutes of Health Neuroscience training grant at the University of Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus in Denver. And that's very, very significant because at the age of 18 in 2006, Holmes was a research intern at the Salk Institute at the University of California at San Diego in La Jolla. And in addition to that, this university was partnered with the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, and also included Columbia University, University of California at San Francisco, University of Wisconsin at Madison, Wake Forest University, and the Mars Company that manufactures Milky Ways and Snickers bars. That's very interesting. What they were trying to do in this research project was to deter fatigue and combat troops through the use of epicatechina, which I'm not pronouncing that right, I think it's epicatechina, a blood flow increasing and blood vessel dilating antioxidant flavanol, which is found in cacao, and particularly in dark chocolate. So this was also known as the Peak Soldier Performance Program, which involved, and get this, creating brain-machine interfaces for battlefield use, including human robotic bionics for legs, arms, and eyes. That's very Star Wars, isn't it? But in addition to that, at the age of 20, Holmes worked as a camp counselor at Camp Max Strauss of the Jewish Big Brothers and Sisters of Los Angeles. And there he taught boys between the ages of 7 and 10 archery, which is very interesting. His grandfather is also quite interesting, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Holmes. He's one of the first Turkish language graduates of the Army Language School, which was later called the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California. And he graduated there in 1948. And those officers were typically used in intelligence services and served with the Defense Intelligence Agency or the CIA, or were used at U.S. embassies in Ankara or in other consulates, let's say in Istanbul. So Mr. Holmes has quite an interesting background. And so I'm sure that a lot of this is going to be suppressed, covered up, changed, etc. But something to be watchful for in the near future.
Sounds like mind control experimentation to me.
It certainly does, including the use of devices to be implanted in your brain, arms, body to be a bionic robot. Very, very interesting.
And then of course there's those 2 pictures that continue to circulate saying, is this James Holmes the same as this James Holmes? Perhaps they are, but different bionic implants.
Well, to me the face looks totally different
I agree.
from those pictures.
Absolutely.
Now in Italy, there is a newspaper that is owned by the brother of Silvio Berlusconi, the former Prime Minister of Italy. And Il Giornale is the name. And in Il Giornale, they have a headline called Quarto Reich, which means the Fourth Reich. And in this Italian newspaper, it says that since yesterday, and this was what date that was, I believe it was just the end of July. They said Italy is no longer in Europe, it is in the Fourth Reich. And that is right from an Italian newspaper. And it also goes on to say that the German head of state, Angela Merkel, also has the title of Emperor of Rome.
I thought that was your title.
No, I'm the Emperor of the Universe.
Oh, okay.
Rome is too small.
I gotcha.
I'm the whole universe. And that she is the new Kaiser. So very, very interesting. Congratulations, Angela, for your promotion to emperor.
Well, wasn't there gossip that she was related to Hitler?
Well, she was supposed to be the biologically cloned daughter of Adolf Hitler. And I'm just, put a little mustache on her. I swear it's the same face. It's unbelievable. Now, remember years ago, I've been telling you about the 3 global rituals that have to occur before the New World Order takes effect. And that was, one was this simultaneous creation and destruction of matter, which was the atomic explosion in 1945. Then there was the symbolic marriage of heaven and earth in 1969, the stage landing on the moon. Well, the third one is the rebuilding of the Temple of Solomon. And here we find out that there is a Israeli government official by the name of Zevulun Orlov who says that he's a member of the Jewish Home Party and has called for massive reforms, including changing the basic laws in order to establish a third temple in Jerusalem. And he said that the third temple in Jerusalem should be built immediately. Also said, in order to, the Arabs, the Palestinians are going to be upset and have problems, so in order to forestall appeals in the High Court, this Orlov advocates changing legislation that would guarantee funding and manpower to protect the Third Temple from prosecution. And the law will also protect the Third Temple project from accusations of discrimination. So you just can't say anything about it. Isn't that interesting? He also said that they have to remove religious and political impediments to his plan. And that means the removal of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is the Dome of the Rock on top of the Temple Mount. And he said, surely the billion-strong Muslim world would start a world war. Yeah, I think so. And so he is going to make sure that this happens. The Knesset, the Israeli government, is deciding whether or not they should do this. There's a lot of people against it. But remember, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, just a year or so ago said that in his term of office, he wants to see the Third Temple rebuilt. So there's a lot of movement for that. Now, how secure do all of you Americans feel with all your rules and regulations? Because guess what? The U.S. government's only facility for handling and processing and storing weapons of weapons-grade uranium was shut down. You know why? An 82-year-old nun breached the security fence. Yes, do you feel secure knowing that an 82-year-old nun could break into one of the top security places in the United States?
You think they'd be embarrassed to even put that out there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, really, because you know what? She and 3 activists cut through perimeter fences to reach the outer wall of a building where highly enriched uranium for nuclear bomb components is stored. They painted slogans on the building and threw human blood on the wall. That's not very nun-like, is it?
Why would they even do such thing? To me, that sounds ritualistic.
The 3 people were identified as Megan Rice, 82, Michael Wally, 63, and Greg Bortia-Obed, 57, who are being held now in custody. But not only did they break through security, they passed through 4 fences and walked for over 2 hours before reaching the uranium storage building, where they hung banners and strung crime scene tape. So, can you explain that? All the security that goes on at airports and around the White House and all these places, and an 82-year-old nun breaks through and gets into this place.
That's what I said. It's like the James Holmes story. There's a lot of things there that don't make sense and don't sound correct. First of all, if it was truly a security breach, they would not announce that publicly. Second of all, that you're going to find out that these people have ties, just like what we did to James Holmes, of other things. And I know, spending a lot of time in eastern Washington State, where we had the Hanford nuclear facility, around the perimeter, miles and miles away, on every practically fence post were cameras watching you. So this sounds highly unlikely that it could have happened unless somebody allowed it to happen for some particular political reason, I'm sure yet to be revealed, which we will find out.
Well, so you lived near that Hanford?
I did.
So that's why you glow in the dark at night?
That's why I do.
Oh, I get it now.
You just thought it was my wonderful halo.
No, that's not what I think.
No, you know?
No. Now, as you know, I talk a lot about Russian information, which, you know, their science has a lot more, to me, validity than what I hear in the Western world. And they only confirmed what I've been telling you for years, and that is that DNA can be reprogrammed by words and frequencies. They have proved this.
I wonder where they heard that from
I wonder where they heard this. They probably spent billions of rubles, and I could have done it for like, you know, $500,000.
But they were tapping our phone.
I'm sure they're tapping a lot more than that. But it says here that DNA can be influenced and reprogrammed by words and frequencies without cutting out and replacing single genes. And this was done by Russian scientific research teams who were studying spontaneous and remote acts of healing, self-healing, affirmation techniques, that's what you kind of do, unusual lighter R's around people, all the things they were studying. And they said that the syntax of language is almost identical to the way the DNA amino acid proteins are put together. So just confirms what I've been telling you all along. For years and years. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have to do a research study. No, but most importantly, which I think a lot of people should be interested in, another Russian research team said that it is likely that there are people who are alive right now who will never die. Because they said with technology and the way things are going, it would be very easy for a person to live to almost 200 years old with the technology they have right now. And then if that person, that 200-year-old person, continues on, they could live for at least 2,000 years. My goodness, I'd have everything paid off by then. Yeah. Well, you know what? One of our sons was telling me that there is also a study out where they're figuring a way to transfer consciousness of the brain into an artificial body so they can basically keep that consciousness alive indefinitely without it ever dying. Mm-hmm. So it's all kinds of things out there, and I'm going to, since you brought that story up last, I'm going to tell you one of my last stories first, since it kind of ties in. The Immortality Project, have you heard about that one? Maybe. This one has received a $5 million grant to study the afterlife. This will be done at the University of California in Riverside. It said the money will fund research into heaven, hell, purgatory, karma, and other topics. Interesting. Yeah, and they will start, this is actually called the Immortality Project. They will organize 2 conferences and a website with resources and links to published research on issues of immortality. And the end result will be a book called Immortality and the Meaning of Death, slated for publication by Oxford University Press. It's actually being funded from the John Templeton Foundation, which gives funds research to such topics as complexity, evolution, infinity, creativity, forgiveness, love, and free will. So immortality now is changing. You know, Stewart and I have been talking to you about this. This is a changing time. And for a lot of reasons, you are watching a lot of things like totally flipped over of what you know. And your children, your grandchildren, they are going to have a completely different view of society as you do from your grandparents and so forth. So with that said, as you know, I do like to keep you abreast of the news. Oh, you're not going to talk about that again, are you? No more haboobs this time. Okay. But I do want you to understand what's going on out there because it's important. And you know what? There's so much about breasts out there. I could talk to you for 30 minutes, but I brought the highlights for you. The latest one, a couple of newscasts ago, I told you that you will be seeing women walking around without any tops. Last time, I showed you a woman in New York City. Now, here we go. Now, instead of 1 woman, this time we have 3 women. And guess how that came about? Woody Harrelson is actually starring in an off-Broadway play called The Bullet for Adolf. And so to advertise this, he actually hired 3 women to walk topless throughout New York City, and he has on above their chest, but they're bare-chested, each woman has 1 word. Now this is interesting too when we talk about the Fourth Reich, such as what you talked about in Italy. One of them says Adolf, front and back. One of them said is, front and back. And the last one says coming, front and back. So they're all walking side by side. Adolf is coming. You read that front and back. But you know, it would be more interesting if they lit up their nipples. Well, that's that's coming. You watch. I still have one more story to go about breasts. But anyway, just
again, we're talking Fourth Reich, we're talking New World religion, and of course it was written in red, which is a very sexual and also ritualistic color. So, like I said, it's out there for you if you read the clues. Now, there's a new movie. Have you ever heard of the one called Total Recall?
Oh, yes.
Okay. That is being remade, and this time, and I didn't see this movie, so I don't know anything about it, but I'm learning. This one, it says it will show the three breasts of the three-breasted prostitute.
I remember that scene.
Okay, well, apparently in the original, I don't know if the breasts were kind of shaded out or whatever, but this time they will show full nipples, and they're making a big deal out of that. And a couple of reasons. First of all, the movie is rated PG. So this means that your 13-year-old can go in and watch a three-breasted woman.
It's called Triple Nipple.
Triple Nipple. Yeah, well, and then they talk about the actress says she's so happy because it's pointless to go through hours of makeup and prosthetic attachment just to leave out the best part, which she calls those little chocolatey nuggets.
Ah, so that is really cute.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going out there. So again, they're going younger and younger, and this is going to be normal, of course, for people sooner or later. And then we have the naked woman serving dish.
What is that?
Well, this apparently has been done in Asia for a while, and the woman lays naked on the table, and then the restaurant puts sushi all over her body.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs up to $500 to have this done for your, a sushi party, I guess. But there's a restaurant in Florida serving it. Now, there's interesting things about these three stories that I just told you, because what I usually do is I take the link out, and then when I want to write it up, I go back so I can make sure I get the salient points for you. The Woody Harrelson, Adolf is Coming, that video and news article was down, and the naked woman serving sushi platter, that one was down. All the pictures were removed, the articles were removed. So, anyway, I thought that was interesting. Now, not to have you guys feel left out, I do want you to know, I know
You're not
I
going
am.
to do that.
Now, I don't want you to feel left out, those of you who are watching the Olympics or male. A long time ago, it says that Olympic dopers got their pre-game hormones boost from chewing on raw animal testicles. So their point being is it says athletes of the 19th century thought nothing of fortifying themselves with coca leaves, cocaine, alcohol, raw eggs, strychnine, shots of brandy. All of this was considered legal through the ages.
Good old days.
The good old days. So I want you to understand that what's going on now, again, they want drugs to be normal. And speaking of USA uniforms, this is now also going around the internet, that the uniforms are not patriotic enough. So again, we're looking for the trends, and remember I told you about the Hello Kitty airplanes, those are in your pink. Well, now they're going deep pink. And what does deep pink mean?
Oh, lust.
It means lust. And to me, it's all like bubblegum and pretend stuff, like we talked about the Hobbit airplane trips to New Zealand and the Hello Kitty airplanes. Okay, why are they taking out the red, white, and blue? Last week, I told you about a 22-year-old from Brooklyn who's running for Senate, and her whole campaign is done in deep pink. She thinks that's great. That's like Legally Blonde and all that stuff. We have Gabby Douglas's, who's giving her gold medal gymnastics performance, wearing a deep pink uniform. So in my particular mind, the last thing I want to bring to back to Germany. Germans walked in wearing pink and blue outfits, which kind of made them stand out to me. Again, look more like this Disney character, this falsehood. They want people, in my opinion, doped up, doing whatever it is they want to do.
Angela knew about that.
I don't know. But it's just interesting how this all kind of pulls together when you take a look at these little pieces here and there. So they're taking away your nationality. They're putting you into this fairy tale land. They're telling you that drugs and everything is normal. They're taking out one thing, putting in another. All they really want is your physical body to do what they tell it to do. They really don't care about your brain. The more of a brain you have, the more they want it, like the experiment with replacing human consciousness. And changing history. And again, we're telling you that they're going to be more and more revealing what's really going on. So one of the articles I found was about the Stone Age. It said it might have had an earlier start than previously thought by some 20,000 years. So they're taking us leaps and bounds into the change of history. They're also doing a lot of talk about changing the way that the moon was formed. So, and to me, I don't really exactly find their theories real or interesting, just the fact they're doing that. Because if you've read Blue Blood, True Blood, you understand what the moon really is. And if you haven't read it, you need to read that book because it's got a big surprise. and eventually they are going to reveal to you what it is, just as we did in Blue Blood. They're stealing your stuff.
I know.
Okay, programming news. Well, this again, they're telling you. Actress Olivia Munn, M-U-N-N, I've never heard of her before. I'm sure maybe you have. I don't follow these the movie star people. She recently revealed that she pulls out her eyelashes as a result of impulsive control disorder called trichotillomania.
You watch your language.
Yeah. People with this disorder have the urge to pull out their hair, whether it be their scalp, their eyelashes, eyebrows, or elsewhere on the body, so that basically the hair is all thinned out. They have symptoms that you want to pull it out. You feel relieved after you've pulled it out. You play, chew, eat, or rub extracted hair. Then, of course, it leaves you with patchy, bald, or sparse areas on the body where the hair used to be. These people who have this spend hours in front of a mirror and odd postures trying to locate one hair that they feel doesn't belong. The people feel tense either right before if they try to resist pulling out the hair. It goes on and on and on. This is according to the Mental Health America. My feeling is you probably have another name for this.
Yes, psychotic behavior.
How about programming?
Yeah.
This is programming. Okay, love me not. Daisy programming. If you have a tendency to do that, remember the Daisy program. You take one, you throw it away, a petal. This is a way of reinforcing programming, and they're telling you about it right here. And of course, hair represents your strength. If you go, we could analyze this step by step, but it's programming, down, right, and simple. They could come to us, and we will have people fix in no time flat once they figure that one out. A Mayo Clinic, however, has got a whole big long thing about it and how you can treat it if that is your issue. And like I said, we can help you much easier than Mayo Clinic. It's programming. Okay, on to aliens, because aliens are always great news. We now have an alien-like ocean fish. Now, I personally have never heard of a, where's my...
Oh, it's a mola.
Yeah, a mola. I never heard of that, or AKA an ocean sunfish.
Heard of a sunfish.
Did you? Well, anyway,
Yes.
says they're slow as a snail and as big as the moon, and they're huge. To me, it looks kind of like a whale. They had a big picture on it. But again, just the fact that they're putting alien, they make it sound like they've always been out there. I never heard of one. And they're huge. So you want to, again, keep a lookout for the way they're opening up your frequencies.
They're probably going to start a discrimination trend.
Against molas?
Yeah,
Or molas?
legislation prohibiting discrimination against molas because they're so big.
It could be. So, keeping on that theme, there was a man who was strolling through the French Quarter of New Orleans when something in the sky caught his attention. He took pictures, and it was a UFO. So again, this is coming on regular news versus the National Enquirer. And as I was reading this article, I happened to notice at the bottom, they have a whole list, so you may also be interested in this story. So it has a whole list, UFO over Moscow, May 2nd, UFO over Russian City, June 19th, triangle-shaped UFO over Sydney, May 2nd, and it goes on and on down these lists, telling you where, here's unusual aerial objects over Brazil, January 3rd. So you can go on and on and on. Before, you could not find this on the news. You had to get, strange magazines or, off, more cultish type of things. Now it's becoming more and more mainstream. And my final story on aliens is about Texas Senate candidate Ted Cruz, C-R-U-Z, who said in an interview on Fox News Sunday that, he says, I'm perfectly happy to compromise and work with anybody. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians. Then he adds, I'll work with Martians if it is critical, they're willing to cut spending and reduce the debt. Ha ha. But again, they're opening your frequency. You're hearing about aliens from people that you would never have heard of from it before. They would have made fun of this guy before.
They're pushing a lot of Mars stuff.
Yeah.
Like the rover now on Mars.
Right. Yeah. And the aliens, even if you look on the internet, they have pictures of the aliens on Mars with their little signs that say, humans go home, things like that.
They're smart. Those are smart little Martians.
Yeah, they are. But the idea is, again, is to open up so it becomes more acceptable. First of all, you laugh at it. The next thing you know, it's normal because it's already in there. And my last story, again, goes back to Antarctica, which I talked to you about last time. Now they are saying that Antarctica was once home to a near tropical rainforest, according to a study published in the journal called Nature. Approximately 52 million years ago, the temperatures measured about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So lots of things are happening. They're changing very quickly, much more quickly than what most people realize, because your life is so complicated. you're so busy just dealing with day to day. So again, we're hopefully showing you how to find these trends for yourself so that you can figure it out, so that you're not taken aback or unawares when these things happen. And if you want more fascinating information, besides, of course, your upcoming trip to where all you're going, I can't keep track of it.
Iceland, England, Morocco, Ireland, Scotland.
Okay, so you've got, what, consultations, lectures, possibly Montauk screening.
Possibly.
We're not sure if it's going to be ready by then.
A lot of research and filming documentary.
Yeah, so a lot of things are going to be going on with you. So when Stewart's in that area, contact events@expansions.com if you have questions, and we'll see if we can link you up wherever he is. And then, of course, the most fascinating of all is going to be the end of September.
Yes.
When we do have our 10th annual fall conference, which is about pyramids, storehouses of knowledge, and we're going to be talking to you about it from a hyperspace perspective. We are bringing in Dr.
Osmanagic.
Yes,
from
Bosnia, who's going to be telling us about his fascinating project and give you a chance to personally talk to him and understand what he's doing.
Fascinating person.
And yes, amazing, and what he's has been going through to make this happen and bring it to reality. And then we also are showing a special showing of the Montauk Chronicles movie that night with beautiful piano music by Deborah Wyndham, very specially
Don't want to miss that.
For this event. It will be by donation only. We will be serving hors d'oeuvres and wine. And it will be also...
And there might be a three-breasted woman.
Are you going to get those prosthetics on?
I was going to...
And put on your little wig and dance around for people?
I know you wanted to surprise them, but they should know.
Okay, now you know. He's going to be there as a three-breasted woman. I don't want to miss that.
I thought you were going to do it, actually.
No. You would make a much prettier one. Remember, you're the pretty one.
I am the pretty one. That's true.
We don't want to disappoint our public.
Yeah.
Also, I hope you are following us along on the member side. If you like hyperspace oversoul work, this is where the real action takes place every day of every month. Stewart and I are on there. We're interacting with you. We are listening to what you have to say. We are giving you personal feedback. And again, the growth of people going through are amazing. It's simply like our money webinar. We are working on that right now. Tonight is our second night of the second session, and people are already finding their income streams turning around. So it's pretty incredible what you can do with a little bit of personal help. We just finished up our week-long immersion week. If you, again, you get real intense in January, we have a big immersion week coming up again. This time it will be focused on different things, which watch our website will tell you. But we always have lots of fascinating things going on. Oh, Bear and Rose's trip to Russia.
Oh yeah, that's October.
October, we still have a few places open if that you want to go with Stewart and be a participant in his seminars he's giving in Russia, see the countryside, follow the route of Emmanuel, correct? So lots of things will be revealed to you then. It's a good time to have some personal interaction, get some personal feedback, have some one-on-one time. And like I said, we're not boring, right?
No.
Never boring.
I don't think so.
Never
well, some
boring.
people might think we are.
I don't think they're boring. That's what gets their blood boiled sometime, but not because we're boring. Anyway, it was always a pleasure to talk to you. We appreciate you tuning in and supporting expansions.com so that we can turn around and support you right back.
And so until next time, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.